Welcome to the Melissa Banks Show. I'm excited you were able to join us today. This show is all about celebrating the journeys of authors, entrepreneurs, creatives, people who are boldly chasing their dreams and creating products and services and inspiring others to do the same. Each episode, we will explore the journey and talk about behind the successes, the lessons learned from the challenges, and the advice to spark action in your own life. So the goal here is simple, is to remind you that your dreams are possible and to leave you feeling inspired and empowered. Our guest today is author entrepreneur Kate Thurman, who has an incredible story to share. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
I am thrilled and excited that we were able to get together and get you on because your journey is incredible and I'm excited to dive into it. So one of the things, the main thing we do on the show, we like to start at the beginning of the journey, right? What sparked the idea? What sparked the dream in your stomach? And how did you make that dream your reality?
Mm. Well, for the nonprofit, what sparked that dream was, well, God woke me up after we had one of the miscarriages that I just wrote about. And I turned that pain into purpose. Um, I honestly felt like we had to lose that baby to start the ministries that we started. And from the ministries, we also started, we have Graceful Gatherings with the Thurmans and the Kate Thurman Show. A lot of that, most of it started from pain. And we turned that pain into purpose. And that's how we kind of started it. You know, we've always wanted to give back. We've always given back. But we didn't initially start turning it into a nonprofit until, you know, we suffered so much loss and we turned that pain into purpose. We felt like it was something we were supposed to be doing, you know, to help people. And at one point, I think it was me coping without really coping with the loss. You know how you're just busy. I started to be busy, like extra busy. Like I'm gonna keep my hand in here, so that I didn't have to deal with what was going on behind the scenes in my life.
But you know, Kate, I'm glad you said one thing you said is you turned that pain into purpose. See, oftentimes we're going through some stuff and it seems so heavy and so hard and seems like the worst thing that could be happening
Mm-hmm.
when it was part of the journey. It was part of the plan to get you to where you needed to be. So
Yeah.
it pushed you. And I talk about this sometimes it takes something. And I know in my own life, it has taken some really big stuff to push me into
Mhm.
opening my mouth, to push me into sharing my story publicly. So
Mhm.
that was one of those things. I didn't know that it was more than one until you just mentioned it. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it's
Talk to us, Kate, about you mentioned just then that it was that situation that pushed you to get busy, and that busy led to an amazing nonprofit that's helping a lot of people. I often talk about there's different points in our journey. I refer to them as my defining moments. But when
mm,
I first started talking about that, Kate, I thought it was just that one time, and that was the defining moment. But what I have figured out and learned as my journey continues is that there's more than one moment in our journey that defines us. So,
hmm
talk to us about a specific turning point in your journey that shaped who you are today.
one. I had a house fire. Another one is I lost my sister on my birthday, and I had to take all three of her kids and raise them as my own.
Oh, wow.
And I'm it's such an honor to do so, by the way. But that was like one of the turning points. And then I had the house fire. So I have five kids and I have a house fire. No help. Draining our 401ks, which is another one of the moments that I thought about, and it happened in my life. And we had started giving back to people even before. This was a couple of years before we started the nonprofit as well. But those are two specific things that happened in my life there were turning points as well. So it's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of different things that shifted
Mm-hmm.
me and made me want to do the things that I do now.
So, Kate, how did you look at, and I'm gonna stay right there for just a moment, those things that were happening, and my heart goes out to you, the loss of your sister. I know that pain as well.
Yes.
So just being there for her and being there for her children, we applaud you for that. But talk to how you push yourself out. You could have went the other direction. Now you could have used those things as excuses or reasons, because no, they're big things
Mhm.
to feel sad, to stop. How did you reach within yourself to use those things and push through those very big challenges as they were?
Honestly, it was God. And when I say it was God, at some point I did get, you know how you're sitting there, it's like, oh no, this is too much. Like, am I supposed to be going through all of this in the world? Like, this is this what life's supposed to be about? So, and it's God and God only who pulls you out of it, who
Mhm.
says, okay, I got more for you to do. And then you start realizing and you start hearing and then accepting that I had to tell myself, and when he told me, I accepted, I'm like, it's something else I'm supposed to be doing here. That's how I was able to continue to go and get stronger, because I know it's something else I'm supposed to be doing on this earth other than going through all of that. It's a greater purpose on
Yeah.
my life.
But he gave you what you needed to push
Yeah.
through to, and here you are today. Oh, what an amazing story you have. You know, Kate, in our entrepreneur journey, we show up looking amazing, of course, looking like life is all easy and everything's falling into place and going exactly like we planned.
Mhm.
Well, we already know that that's not how the entrepreneur journey works. There's some ups and there's some downs, and sometimes there's more downs than ups, and then sometimes there are more ups and downs, and then you're still feeling overwhelmed. What I'd
Yeah.
like to do is share with us um, a challenge in the journey of building your business that you faced, that just one that you faced,
It's a
and
lot.
share with
Okay.
us how you were able to just push through them and keep going and not throw your hand up and say, this is too much.
I almost threw my hand up a couple of times, but I didn't. You're right. I didn't. It was when I first opened a few months in, you have people and you're praying, you're asking God to send you these people, and you're like, oh yeah, God sent me this person, God sent me that person. Turns out to be it's just you. And that was one of the things that happened, because when he gives you the vision, it is for you. And for me, I did let a lot of people, I'm telling you the vision, I'm telling the people the vision, I'm trying to get them to get it and get on board and be just as passionate about this as I am. But I quickly realized that that just wasn't the case. Listen, sometimes you're gonna be still stuck there, just you in that business, because it's yours. God gave it to you, and everybody's gone, and then you got to start all over. And that's kind of one of the things that's happened. It happened in the beginning. I was like, well, wait a minute, I got to start all over. I was like, oh, it happened. It really
It
did.
does happen, but the key is that, and I don't want anyone to miss that, that yes, it feels like that at moments, because you can see it. It's all in you. You can
Mhm.
see it, but these people that around you, they can't. But it's about you. You can see it. But the
Yes.
key is, even though it was hard, even though you thought about quitting, I would beg to offer that a lot of entrepreneurs have those moments. I've been there at that moment, but
Mhm.
you didn't. And that's why you're still standing here today. That's why
Mhm.
you're able to share your story to help someone else. Listen,
Yeah.
it's about keeping going. It's start over as many times as necessary. I am just so glad you shared that with us.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, this is the Melissa Banks Show. Welcome to the show. Our guest today is author entrepreneur Kate Thurman. So, Kate, talk to us about um, something in your journey. Oftentimes we have this urge to start a business. We want to write a book. We want to sell something. but we just talk about it. We get excited.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about it, we're telling our friends about it, we're posting about it that we're going to start,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just not able to push that button, the start button. We keep coming up with reasons. Oh, can't do it right now. Everything's got to fall in place. Talk to us about what advice would you give to someone who's in that place? They have the vision. The vision is there. It's time for the book. It's time for the book. What advice would you give them to just start?
Well, I would say if you're waiting and you haven't prayed about it, pray. If you are waiting and you prayed about it and God has given you the unction and He's giving you the go ahead to do the book, I would advise to do it. Two different things, two different reasons. The reason why I say this is because when it's something that is ordained by God and He's telling you to do it, an unction you to do it, then there is no need for you to wait. If you're thinking of excuses to say, well, I don't have this, I have money for this, I don't have money for that. Trust in the process and trust in God when you're doing it. Now, if you hadn't prayed, I'm gonna say go pray. Let Him speak to you and let you know when it's supposed to do it. Because when you do it and you do it when He tells you to do it, it's gonna take off. I wrote a book before. I never released it because God didn't tell me to. And this one I just wrote, I wrote in this book was done and completed within 2 months because He told me to.
Wow. Okay, Kate, let's just start. Let's talk about that a little bit. If you're ready to talk about it, I do want you to talk about the new book and why that journey was different. What felt different about it? Why was this the time to share those experiences?
Oh, sure, I would love to. Beauty Beyond the Tears, Finding Strength After Loss. I have several infertility issues. I have PCOS. I've had that for over 20 years. Recently diagnosed with Turner Mosaic syndrome, which is something that counteracts the PCOS, but I haven't. The test results didn't lie. I have um, I was having fibroids. So PCOS causes you to infertility. So some people can't even get pregnant with having PCOS. Some it takes a long time. It's not impossible. With Turner Mosaic syndrome, the same thing. It's a little different, but the same thing. And when you have all of these diseases, and then turning around, I have fibroids. They grow bigger than the baby. So not only was it hard, it's not impossible. It was hard. And then when you get pregnant, on top of having a PCOS, miscarriages. So it's something else that was going on in my body, including the fibroids that was causing miscarriage. So the book was actually written in real time. I've just recently had in March um, my most recent miscarriage. Is not the only. I've had several. I only put four in the book. And the reason I put four in the book and the reason that book was written the way that it was is because that book is written to design to let everyone know who's suffering, who if you had a miscarriage, if you're told your womb is barren, if you are have any kind of infertility issues of any sort, or if you had loss, that book is written for you, for that woman. That book is written because to show the courage that God gave me in my obedience to Him telling me to write this book. That's why, first of all, it's written in real time. It's written while I was still grieving, still healing, listening to God. It was one of the it is one of the things that I had to do because I was lost for a minute. It was times I didn't even want to pray because I felt like I was doing everything right. And I said to God, I get the baby back. I'm praying, and then He reminded me to read Hannah. He reminded me again with confirmation with Prophetess Sierra to read Hannah, with Prophetess Tanya for me to read Hannah, which He had already told me. And to be able to do this book, it means the world to me because I'm not only sharing my story, I'm trying to minister to women who suffer. We suffer in silence. You feel like I felt sometimes you feel like less than a woman because your body is giving up on you. You're miscarrying your baby, and no one, a lot of people don't know what that feels like to be told you got all of these issues. You're supposed to be able to carry a baby. When your husband want a baby, you're supposed to be able to give your husband a baby. And when you can't do that, and it makes you feel like you're less than a person, less than a woman, that does something to you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So I wanted to encourage the women with this book to, and not just women, men too, whoever needs to hear this to help their wives, uplift them, get them this book. It'll help you all. This is not just about talking about miscarriage or loss and my losing my babies. This is about God and encouraging people and inviting them to still trust God's word and God's timing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That is so powerful. And so many of us need to hear that because we do start feeling, you're not the only one that have those moments that sometimes it feels like, what, God, what are you doing here? I've screamed that myself at times. What is happening? But the courage to put it in the book, and that was so powerful. I didn't really plan to put that right there, but God has his way. But you needed to say that. And thank you for sharing that with us. And I know that book is not only going to encourage you, it's going to encourage every single person who reads it, who's been holding that in, but have been going through something so similar, but
Mm.
just didn't have the courage to put it out there. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Look, I, I have one more question I wanted to ask you is in the moment that things are happening in your business, you talked about writing the book in real time, and most of us believe in healing a long time before you put it out there. You be completely over it. I tell people, be completely over it before you talk about it publicly. But you were able to do that in the time that it happened. So, how
Mhm.
were you able to find the motivation, the courage, and to stay focused on the goal? Because you did it quickly. It didn't take you a year to write it, you did it in 2 months. So,
Mhm.
how did you find that motivation and that courage to just keep going? The goal is to get this book completed. How did
Yeah.
you?
Honestly, when God told me to write the book, I called a few people. Some of them thought I was nuts. They thought I was doing it just like I was gonna just write it and maybe do like the other book and just not put it out, or thought I was just gonna write my feelings down and to make me feel better. They thought it was something for me, but I'm like, no, God told me to do it. So it was the people that it was very specific. I shut down from a lot. I don't know, you probably didn't notice I wasn't on social media. I wasn't doing too much or nothing. I was in the presence of God all that time. And when people would check on me, if you guys send a message, how are you, Kate? I'm fine. Thank you. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. But the courage came from God. And I know that it was divinely orchestrated. So one person in particular that called was Chanel. She didn't think I was nuts when I said I'm getting ready to write this book. She said, "Okay, I'm here for you. Let me know what you need." And then I talked to my husband first, even before her, and because at one time he looked at me like, how someone looks at you like they didn't know what to do with you. Because I was at first I was just like, I looked like I was just here, but I wasn't here. And I think he saw the spark. So me seeing him see the spark come back in me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and the people, the support system. I had some very small window of people. Our publicists, if sometimes if you just send one little message, just checking on you, that's good enough. If you text me, Melissa, that was good enough. That was motivation enough for me because I was working closely with God and a very few handful of people that I can talk about it, and it's okay to cry. So certain people, if a friend of mine, Ari, or my sister-in-law, like it's very few people that called and they would just say, well, you just gonna talk to me today. You gonna talk to me. And that would push me one day or the next day to say, okay, I'm gonna get out the bed and I'm gonna write something. And those were the encouraging moment because he put several certain people there. He put Dr. Velma there the day that I found out it wasn't nothing but God, because I was beating on the one about to break the window. And she left me a voice message, an encouraging voice message. And those are people like you all who reached out And the ones that reached out and just say, listen, I'm not trying to hear what you're talking about. Listen, what you're doing, let me help you. I wouldn't let them help because it was not for everybody's hand to be on the project.
Mhm.
However, they gave me the strength and the courage to move forward. My family, my mom, my mother-in-law, they believe me. You know how it takes a village to raise kids. You took a village to to encourage me on the back end and say whatever you need to do. At first, they looked at me, but then they understood because I started to get the spark back because I was excited to share my story, excited. And I stopped saying share my story at first. And I started saying this is a ministry. If you see if anything that I post, most of the time I'm letting people know this not my book, this God's book. And when you read it, you'll see like it is God's book.
And I don't want people to miss this amazing journey that you just share with us. But what I don't want them to miss is how important it is for the people who are around you to be on that certain page. I have people in that group of people you just mentioned. I don't even have to say anything, but they can feel it in my a post that I made. Just send
Mm-hmm.
an encouraging word. Doc, you talked about Dr. Bellman and her messages. I've gotten those, and I know how those pick you up. So the important thing I want people to hear is when you get down, don't stay down because you have those relationships that you've already built. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's important. Everybody is not supposed to be close.
No.
But when you have those people who are supposed to be there, and when you're going through stuff, they can say a little thing and it'll snap you back. It'll pick
Yes,
you up and you can push a little bit further. So I just did not want that to go unmissed. Kate,
absolutely.
this conversation has been absolutely amazing. I knew it would be. That's why I was so excited to bring you onto the show. Let our audience know how they can get the book, how they can stay connected with you and support you in all that you do.
Okay, so you can get the book on Amazon. The ebook is out now. The release date for the hard copy is actually July 3rd. But the ebook is out right now. And God moved it quickly. It actually released before we thought it was gonna to release. We said it for the 26th, but look at God.
That's right.
Won't he do it?
There you
So
go.
it's out now on Amazon. You can stay connected with me. If you need to email me with questions about the book, it's katewrites80@gmail.com. For the nonprofits, angelically blessed 0811 at gmail.com, angelicallyblessed.org. On social media, all things Kate Thurman or Chris Thurman. My husband, he's the co-founder and co-CEO or co-founder of Angelica Bless, and our two programs underneath, which is Faith Safe Haven Women's and Men's Ministry. So we have a lot going on, and you can reach any of us on those platforms.
Well, thank you again, Kate. You have uplifted us, you have inspired us, and you have given us what we need to go just a little bit further. And I just thank
Yes.
you so much for this. And I'll make sure when I post on this that we make sure that link to the book is there so they can grab their copy.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to our audience for joining us for the Melissa Banks Show. I hope today's conversation with Kate Thurman reminded you that your dreams are within reach, no matter where you're starting.
Amen.
Remember, your journey is unique, your dreams are valid, and you have the power to design the life that you love. So keep believing, keep growing, and keep shining. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. Until next time,